He's smooth. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Conrad's Untitled Nighttime Talk Show, episode 49. I'm here with my good friend Marco Antonio. Marco Antonio's special talent, he knows every single word to Despacito.
I've never heard
don't?
that song.
Okay,
so
all right.
No.
All right, well.
That's the Justin Bieber one with the band.
I don't know.
Talking about Despacito?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I've never.
You used to say the same rhythm that's in like, it feels like every Spanish song.
It's like every reggaeton song has the same.
Boom,
Yeah.
boom, is that what makes it that, or?
For reggaeton, I think it is.
It's the drums.
Yeah.
So is there like one guy who's just getting hella booked everywhere south of
No.
El Paso, or like?
I think it's just FL Studio.
Yeah, I mean, it seems pretty derivative, like a robot could do it. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the only self-help podcast that only helps me. Thank you for tuning in. I think the mission statement is I try to find people who are good at what they do, and or at least enjoy doing it.
Hell yeah, man. Well, thanks. That's fucking cool.
Yeah. Talk about like your process for making a.
Dude, so when I make a bitch, I pull everything out of the fridge.
Everything.
Everything.
What's everything in the fridge for Marco Antonio?
Dude, there's usually some like tomatoes, some avocados. You know, you got like the lunch meats and stuff, and then like cheese, and then various condiments. You know, like I really like mustard on my.
Okay.
And if I'm having like a chicken patty or something, then I'll put like ketchup on that shit too. But yeah, I basically treat every meal like it's my last.
I've seen that. I have seen that in action. Yeah, one time we had a gig where famously you got a picture of us standing in front of an empty event center. Oh man, and everybody went up that night. I saw you make a where like traditionally the pieces of bread were 2 slices of tomato, and I'd never seen anything like that before.
I am a visionary, and
well, I don't know, because I want to debate you on that, because like I would argue that the whole point of the whole reason the bread is there is to serve as like a handle, like a vehicle for the food. It's the reason that you don't, like, if it wasn't there, then like it wouldn't need to be there at all. That'd be like wrapping a burrito inside out. Like that wouldn't make any any fucking sense. So you're getting pieces of bread that are wet. You know, like, because that's a food item that ought to come with a.
So the concept was more of a flat, which is what I was trying to do.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow. Yeah. All right. Now in that context, makes a hell of a lot of sense what I saw.
Right.
Yeah, a 2-dimensional.
It was.
You really do think about this stuff differently than.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you think that, you know, extracurricular activities have anything to do with that, or is that because I've never heard of a 2-dimensional.
Yeah, man. I remember being a kid. This is true, man. As a kid, like my mom, we would get home from school and like my parents would just be gone, you know, because they'd be at work. And me and my brother and my sisters, we would just like ravage the kitchen and just like we got really good at putting together like random things. Yeah. And
yeah, it really does seem like you just put a bunch of stuff into a box, hit a button, and it came out as like an item.
Well, like, but we would cook stuff too, because like my mom would just buy a bunch of raw ingredients, because like she was, you know, Mexican.
Right.
And
I want to talk about that if you're all right with that. Too.
Yeah.
But we'll get into it. No, let's go. Let's get on about this.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I just got so creative. Like, when I was a kid, I thought I invented the omelet. Because
you came about it organically.
Yeah. And so I thought I invented it. So I showed it.
Throw shit into eggs.
Yeah. I put a slice of like the cheese, like Kraft cheese, between two, like, you know, just like scrambled
two eggs. Yeah.
And it was stupid. I called it a. And I showed it to my neighbor, and he's like, "That's an omelet." I was like, "No, that's a fucking. You can't rename what I just invented."
No, you can. This is America.
Yeah. Well, I didn't know that at the time. I was like 8. Yeah. You know, and so yeah, that was sort of kind of where it all started.
So, for those that listening at home, Marco Antonio's mom is an illegal immigrant now.
No, was.
Oh, she got her citizenship?
Oh yeah, dude. I was in 4th grade when she got hers, and I was like 29 when my dad got his, my stepdad, which is basically my dad. Yeah.
All right. Well, congratulations to them.
Thanks,
shit,
man.
dude.
Oh, yeah.
I remember I lived in a house with like 4 or 5 other like Mexican dudes.
Yeah.
And like none of them knew that I could speak Spanish like at all.
Mm-hmm.
And I can like understand it more than I can talk it. I mean, I sound like this, you know. But
Yeah.
but,
The Minnesota monotone.
Well, yeah, the drone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but I remember it always felt like I lived with this guy who was crazy. And it's like because this guy, like, he was a drug dealer. And, you know, one day I'm going out to work in the morning and I try to reason with him. Hey, bud, you got a lot of extra time. It sure would be nice if when I came home all the dishes were done. That way we could throw another party and maybe get our, you know, like.
That's a hella incentive.
Right. No, and that's what I had to do with these guys. It's just like, we're throwing a party. You want to do it here? And it's like, no. All right, clean the fucking house. And then, like, the aftermath of the party would be less of a mess than, like, the original one.
Nice.
Yeah. You just and like, Latin dudes, very horny. You appeal to them in that way. You know?
Yes.
And it's like, Halloween's coming up, dude. Skanks.
Oh,
We
shit.
can get them, you know? Like,
A lot of talent.
Right. And so, one time I asked this guy to, like, do the dishes. And I come home from work, and it had rained that day. And I get home, and all the dishes are on the front yard. It's getting rained on. Not for everybody to see. So I go in and I confront him, and I'm like, hey, bud, why are the dishes in the front yard? You know? And he's like, well, it was raining, and I almost puked trying to wash them, so I figured I'd throw them all out in the yard to let them get rinsed. And I'm like, that's fine, but we have a backyard. Like, you know? Like, what?
The fact that you even said that's fine, that's hilarious.
Well, it's like, I got that. Like, I was, because, you know, it's like, you see something that, like, you want to be pissed, but then I try to, like, rationalize, like, reason it out, like,
Right.
what were they thinking, you know? And I'm like, all right, it was probably gross and it's raining and he wanted to rinse them, sure. But then I checked the and they weren't there, so I'm like,
Yeah.
and it felt like I was living with crazy people. And this dude told me a story. Inevitably, everything in that house went to shit. Stray dog that ran, like, from a different town after this guy died. Rest in peace, Tiggy. Nobody took care of it, but everybody took care of it. So it's like eating hot dogs and shit, and it ended up getting fleas. Then everybody got fleas, and I don't know why all my hair fell out, but, like, you know, like, just everything went to shit. And this guy, you know, who threw the dishes in the yard, was like, you know, Conrad, when I first met you, I thought that you were just being a huge asshole. But now that everything happened exactly the way that you said it, I realized that you were just being honest. And I was like, oh, thanks. You know?
Yeah.
He told me a story. It's like, my mom's an illegal immigrant. She doesn't trust white people. She didn't let me go to the doctor. Meanwhile, every single public school teacher from kindergarten on was concerned about schizophrenia.
That's crazy, but yeah.
It literally is. And that's why the dishes were in the front yard. That's why it didn't make any sense. That's why it felt like I was living with crazy people.
So that was your first encounter with Mexicans?
No.
Oh.
Not my first
Well,
encounter.
was that
That was probably the first and last time I lived with a group of 5 smelly dudes.
Yeah, that's a terrible
Regardless
first impression of.
Well, no, I mean, like,
Yeah.
that was just one guy. The rest of them were like, I don't know, regular horny dudes that party and
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, man. So you might be talking about kind of like the newer generation, like, you know, like, I guess, like our generation, right? Like,
Yeah.
of like they were American citizens, right? But their parents were illegal immigrants.
Well, yeah.
Right.
My guess.
Would
is
you call that like first generation American?
I would absolutely.
Right,
If
right.
the parents don't, like, yeah.
So then, like, I'm a first generation American.
Like, if you know what Tom Hanks movies are, that's first generation.
Yeah, I love Tom Hanks.
Like,
did you know his son's a rapper?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like too many generations.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's wants to be somewhere else.
Right.
Yeah, that's.
But yeah, no. But I was raised by, like, when like growing up around just like the illegal like immigrants. I like old school Mexicans, you know, like we call them paisas. And
Okay,
they're just
yeah.
basically like the ones that you see like on construction sites and stuff like that, you know. Like a bunch of all of my uncles basically are still illegal, you know. It was a huge deal when my mom and my dad got their citizenship. Like we threw the biggest party. Like my mom was like, you know, like weeping and stuff. She was really happy. She was so proud to call herself an American. But she was like, now I don't have to worry if I get pulled over and stuff. Like that was the biggest thing for her.
Well, I mean, that's,
yeah.
you don't not have to worry. It's just a different concern. I mean, now you have the same problems as everybody else. It's like,
well, now if you get pulled over, you're not going to get deported, and then you won't ever see your kids again.
I know chicks that, okay, different stakes entirely, but like I know chicks that like never paid their parking tickets, got warrants out, and now claim that police give them anxiety. And it's like, yeah, it's because like you can get pulled over and sent to jail the next time you see a cop. That would give any person anxiety. You don't have anxiety, you have a legal problem.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you have lack of responsibility.
Right.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah. No, for sure.
No, the whole like, I don't know, illegal immigrant thing, like going through the whole fucking.
It's an interesting childhood, man, for sure.
Yeah.
It is.
Everything's like.
Everything is high stakes. I remember.
It's just the world is tag.
Yeah. Literally, man. I remember
Yeah.
my dad. He was pulling out of the driveway one time, and I was just like sitting in the living room looking at him through the window, and he was praying, you know.
Yep.
And like doing the whole prayer thing, and I was like, why is he praying? Does he pray every time he drives? And he's like, he's praying so he doesn't get pulled over.
Yeah.
So he can just go get his haircut and come back and still see his family.
Jesus fucking Christ, dude.
Yeah.
I mean,
I was like, and I remember taking my citizenship, it felt like for granted, you know. I felt like, damn, man, I just like hit the lotto by being born here.
Okay, yeah, and that's the thing. It's like when you've reason people don't appreciate that we live in the best time to be alive is because it is so easy that everybody has enough time to focus on why they're miserable.
Exactly.
And a lot of that is driven by like looking at what other people have and thinking like I'm fucking lame. And a lot of that's true.
Yeah, it's just too easy to be alive these days, for sure. Yeah.
I mean, like
I wish a lot of people wouldn't be.
I mean,
so
there is an overpopulation
Like, so,
thing. Like,
yeah.
it's gonna hit.
So soft.
Have you ever driven through Dallas?
Yeah, Dallas is crazy. Every time I leave Dallas, I almost get like a misdemeanor or something. You know, Dallas is just like
I don't know.
crazy.
I usually have to dodge traffic every single time I'm in Dallas. It's like, are you a road rage guy?
No, I'll just like. If it's like a driver that I can tell is like unhinged, dude, just like crazy, I'll just get out of the way. I don't care, man. I'm not like that. But if it's just like an elderly, I'll drive them off the road.
But if it's like a disabled who isn't turning right on red, and you're like 10 minutes late for work for like the last time.
If I could see that it's a disabled, I'm chilling,
like what if you start yelling and then you read the plates? And then you feel a wave of shame. And it's
then
like,
I would totally say, hey, sorry.
But then you do a little bit more math and you realize the guy might be deaf. So you just kind of... He didn't acknowledge me.
I would try my best to... I would speak sign language to the best of my ability on the spot.
I mean, there's universal sign language for situations like that.
I'll do this.
There's that one.
My bad. I'll touch my chest. I'll do that. I'll touch my head. I don't know what I was thinking.
Like an idiot. Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
A lot of people doing that.
You know.
Oh, geez, I've never driven a car before.
I don't want to fight. You know.
Yeah.
We're good.
Yep.
You know. Stuff like that.
You're not like a put the on the dashboard.
No.
Moving on kind of thing.
No. If I'm ever gonna fight somebody, I would just casually wear brass knuckles and just wouldn't mention at all that I have them on.
Do you think that's why? Suge Knight wears as many rings as he does?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, yeah.
100%.
Do you think that there's a difference between brass knuckles and like a 3-finger ring?
Well, brass knuckles are like just way more metal or whatever it is.
Oh, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, and they also come right here. So like, I don't know. I think rings. I think they would both hurt, but I think a brass knuckle would like hurt if you don't punch right. It would really hurt.
I don't know. I feel like rings in a fight. Seemingly, if we're just boxing, great idea.
Yeah.
These motherfuckers with jujitsu, dude, you're gonna lose that finger, dude. Like,
I don't want to fight anybody. Yeah,
right.
Because first of all, I don't care, dude. I don't want to go to jail. I don't want to risk anything that would put me in a position to where like I have to like pay.
You've ever been to jail?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
all right.
several times. Yeah, but it's all been for dumb stuff, man. It's all just been for like having weed on me and then getting pulled over.
Yeah.
Or one time I went to jail like 3 times in a year, but it was just like 2 days.
Okay.
But it was just because I didn't do community service because I was in drug court.
Failed to. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
For weed.
Those guys don't talk to each other.
Yeah. Well, dude. Well, I actually met one who owns his own business now and like wants me to host an open mic there too.
Let's do that.
And
dude.
he's actually can I say the club name?
Yeah. Well, I mean, we can bleep it out.
I'll just tell you that we're already hosting one there.
Okay.
On Wednesdays.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Horse Club.
Right.
Yes.
And then there's another location in Fayetteville on Dixon that he wants me to do Thursdays.
Huh.
Yeah, because I think we just
Is
like.
it also in that squarey kind of area?
It's just like, sort of ish.
That's
It's like where the stands are.
Yes.
Yeah, so like it's kind of close there.
Tin
like
roof?
if you were at the stands and then like I was hosting open mic and then like you farted, I would smell it. It's not that close.
You're in the train car?
I'm in your pants.
Oh. No, you're talking. Are you
No,
the
but-
hookah lounge or?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Hookah lounge is.
No, it's not the hookah lounge, but it's like it's a different. They might do hookah there too. I don't know. We had a show there. We did a show there that.
Yeah, that was the sex shop one, right?
Yeah, that one. Yeah,
no,
that
so
place.
That's owned by the same people who own.
Yeah, I don't know if I could.
And they have the too. Those
Okay.
guys just love us.
Yeah,
Jesus
dude.
Christ.
Yeah, so I don't know. Well, no one knows, but yeah, I know him from there. Oh, but yeah, I know him from there, and it's cool. It's been cool, man.
From
But
jail?
he's no from drug court.
Oh.
Yeah,
right,
drug court
okay.
was crazy, dude. That was
What was that like?
like every day you had to call before 9 a.m. or
And then
something.
they'll tell you like a color of the rainbow, and
yeah.
then you decide how hard to pee into a cup. Am I getting?
Yeah, well, they would say yes or no, come in for a drug test, and if you did have to go in for a drug test, then you had to be there before 11, and you couldn't even take Tylenol or any like NyQuil, nothing without permission. If you bought like Tylenol PM or something, that you would have to buy the bottle. First, you would get permission, then you would give it to them, then they would give you like a certain amount a day, like everything. It was like in phases. You had to do at least 12.
And are you in jail at this point? Like, how do they keep track of that? Because
so basically,
I could play guitar for an hour, make $5, go buy a Tylenol.
Well, the that I got, well, they would test you for everything. They had like a whole lab and stuff.
I'd have a tough time with that.
Yeah, and they would watch you pee and everything, like in the room with you. Yeah, everything. So, but no, it was the that I got. I was basically. I am. Is that the snipped?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So no smuggling up in there.
Nope.
All right, moving on.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And did you want to see it or
no?
No. Okay, cool.
After the show.
Right on.
Right.
And so. What was I saying? I was pre-adjudicated, which basically meant like their charges were filed against me, but I wasn't convicted yet, and so my lawyer was basically like able to tell the judge that I just had a problem and I needed help. But this was all possible because I didn't say anything when I got arrested. Every single response to every single question, I said one word, and I was said, yeah. They were like, where are you going? Whose car is this? It was my mom's car. And they were trying to a bunch of detectives were trying. I had a pretty big amount of weed on me and stuff, and so they were trying to, like, a lot of detectives were trying to talk to me and stuff, get me to snitch. Yeah. And but because my like literally, when you get arrested for a felony, you get like the affidavit sent to you, the footage, the transcript, and everything. And I saw the transcript and it's like, oh, I'll just send you an invoice, And so basically, yeah.
Basically, like, thank you.
Yeah. So they said,
wow.
if you complete this program, it's 18 months, Then it's 15 months, but I fucked up a little bit at the end, so I had to do 18 months. But then they basically take this like paperwork that says these charges, and we'll shred them. And I can pass any background check or anything like that, because I didn't.
That's way better than a felony, dude.
Yeah, and I was a rare case.
Gosh, your mom would kill you.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Dude.
Fuck, dude.
Yeah. Well, the cops like showed up to. This is a different occasion. One time, the cops showed up to my mom's house, and because everything that I put, every government document, I just put my mom's address. But I always like live somewhere else, you know.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know why. I don't need to. I
have a similar deal, except that this is what I call a comedian problem.
Yeah.
Like, once upon a time, I tried to do an open mic in a different state. One person couldn't drive because they had unpaid parking tickets. One person couldn't attend by the time I got to the bar because they weren't 21. And then another person couldn't participate at the bar because they were over 21, but they didn't have ID.
Yeah.
My comedy problem is that I switched my resident mailing address to a business mailing address. And now the fucking post office, we're going to leave that in, won't let me switch it back. Damn. They're like, you're just going to have to tell everybody that you do business with where you live. And I thought that was their job.
Yeah.
You know, that's why I'm at the post office.
I don't work here. You do that.
What do I have to do? I got to buy the business, change it to a residence, and then move out? Like, what do we...
Can you sell the business to yourself?
No, it's not my business.
I'll buy it.
That's the problem. Do you have... $4 million?
Let's just cut a deal real quick, right?
No,
now.
I mean that's what we need for acquisition, and then like right now you're not buying anything. Incredible. I don't want to get sued, but pour out my.
But yeah, man.
Shirt.
Jail sucks.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was in Benton County Jail. I've only been to Benton County.
Oh my gosh, dude.
Yeah.
Benton County Jail. I went to Washington County Jail.
Yeah.
Which was like.
They have
fun.
hot food there.
They do?
Yeah, at
I didn't eat it.
Benton County. There's some list out there that's like the top 10 worst jails.
Yeah, no, it's I think we're like with LA County.
Yeah.
Like it's
like, and we're pretty like high up on that list.
Like, it's bad.
It was crazy.
That's crazy, dude. Like,
when I first went in, everybody was at the same time as I walked in. This was like 2:00 in the morning. Everyone starts banging on their cell, but they're like locked up,
too, right?
And they're yelling mine, and they're just banging.
That's awesome.
I have my towel, my 2 rolls of toilet paper, my envelope paper. You know those like little half
2
pencils.
days?
Well, no, this was when I first got arrested. So I was basically in there until
indefinitely.
Yeah, whoever. But actually, my bosses bailed me out.
Whoa.
Yeah, they bailed me. They paid my bail, and Yep.
All right.
Yeah, and they're just like, we'll pay. We'll take it out of your check little by little. And yeah.
Yeah, dude, that's cool.
They were super dope.
I got bailed out of jail by my boss.
Yeah.
Day after he had a heart attack.
Oh damn.
Yeah. He ended up pulling out of that one.
That's good.
You don't get too many of those. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't want to have one of those.
Well, like, I don't know if I've told the story before, but like, probably one of the most formative people in my comedy career was like right after I hit the scene. I was like 2-3 years in. Pandemic was just about to happen. I'm not getting along with the locals.
That's crazy.
Publicly, right? And they don't like that. Well, no, you understand now.
Right.
This is like as it's like happening.
And this was here?
Yes. So, I bitch about my job, but they really did something for me that I'll never be able to repay them for, which is kind of the moral of the whole story. So, like, imagine you're 2 years into comedy and you get this weird, like, traveling position for a brief window of time while Oklahoma gets its marijuana market sorted out.
Right.
And you have a gas card to appear like an electron anywhere from Joplin to Tulsa to Little Rock to wherever in the name of talking to every single person that you can about bongs. Now, what I would do is I would sort out my sales route, I'd organize my shit, and this is like motivated Conrad, so it's like I would have to have my entire day planned out by like 11 a.m. so that when I went and drove my sales route, then I'd have enough time to show wherever the open mic was that night. And it got to a point where everything was so tight, like schedule-wise, that if I got like a flat tire at 2 in the afternoon, I'd call the guys that I'm booked with at 7, being like, I'm gonna be late.
Dang.
I don't know how long, you know. And nobody appreciated that as much as I did.
Right.
Obviously, it's my time. But like that's what I was doing. But on the flip side is that if you get your shit together enough, you've got free gas. You know, you can do comedy every fucking night.
That's
like
crazy.
Now you can do that here, you know, without driving nearly as far. But back then you couldn't. And
Wow.
the long story short is that second or third year of just doing comedy, and especially doing it every night, you know, I'm totally single. I got my apartment to myself. This is what I'm doing every night.
Man, that sounds like
Doing it
a dream,
every
dude.
night. Right. It was a shitty, I don't know.
Yeah, but it also sounds fucking lonely.
Totally.
Yeah.
No, and that's the thing, that being in a relationship now is tough for me
Yeah.
because I know exactly what I want to do at that time.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
I know like I can get into a zone where anybody talking to me is going to be bothersome.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know how to go there. I mean,
The muse.
well, right. Just, you know, flow.
Yeah.
And, yeah, so I was able to get up on stage every night and like compete with these guys that lived in a city like New York or Los Angeles, which is like, you know, first comedy festival I went to was in Tulsa, and I met this guy, and he was like clean, and he was sharp, and he was like concise, spoke well. How long have you been doing comedy? 2 years. I was like, oh, fuck. Twice as long as I have. And this guy's like, how often do you try to get on stage? It's like, at least twice a day. You know, I'm like, and that's who you're competing against. So
Yeah.
like, you know, that changed my mindset. I'm like, oh fuck, I've gotta
feel
work
like a
way
loser.
harder.
Yeah.
You know, so I did, and what happened when I did was, especially with you know, extra resources that people don't have, is I improved faster than other people around me, and they got insecure, started calling me names, and
Like the N-word and stuff.
no, like just, you know, racist, or saying I stole jokes, or it was really
Dude,
that one.
hell
you
yeah.
know?
That's
And
crazy
It's like
that
all
you
I'm doing
know.
is like talking about alopecia, and it's like, show me, like where. Now it's so easy. Somebody steals a joke, you can fucking type it in verbatim and find out where they stole it,
Damn.
and then tell them, get off of the fucking internet, dude. You're
Yeah.
a sponge for this shit. You can't.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. That's crazy. Yeah, speaking of like stealing jokes, man. I just found out that some comedian around here that I've never met stole one of my jokes.
Oh really?
Yeah, and I was told actually by
Well,
someone.
what was their name? We can get good on the button here.
You want me to say their name?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm waiting to confirm those still.
All right.
Because I'll tell you. Can I tell you everything and then I'll say the name?
All right, sure, yeah.
Right on. So
I mean,
I've done this
just didn't know
joke
when to
before.
press the button, but.
I did this joke at the first show that I was ever booked at,
Okay.
and I had a bunch of my friends come out, and I did this joke, and they love this joke because it's like a local reference. And I'll tell you, do you need to hear the joke?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, well, I won't tell you the whole one. Just
Bada chicken plant.
no, it's the Marshallese Boys and Girls Club for Marshallese youth. It's the Jones Center, Springdale.
Oh, was it? Did
The setup is basically like how I love how.
you say that?
No,
Oh.
I'm from
No,
Springdale.
I'm a dick. All right, good.
I was like, I'm from Springdale, and I love how nice Springdale's getting. Like, have you seen that Boys and Girls Club they built for Marshallese youth? Yeah, it's called the Jones Center. And everyone, if you're from Springdale, you know the Jones Center. Like, my generation as kids, that's where we all hung out, you know. But now you go there, and it's just like, you know,
It's Disneylandy.
yeah, it's just, but it's like all like Marshallese kids, which is great. It's awesome, you know.
Oh, I
It's-
mean, yeah.
but it's just, you know, it's just a fun little chuckle or whatever. She had went to a show at a comedy club here in Lowell, and she said, which one that I've never been to, and she told me she was after the show, because I said that joke again at this last show
All
that
right,
I just had
now
at
hold
Queens.
on. Let me interject briefly for a
Yeah.
second. You can tell me who it is, and then I'll verify whether or not they did it. But and that's, you know, jumping to conclusions on
Yeah.
my part. but,
Well,
you
she
know,
said
that's-
that the host said that joke, like he said that joke,
Well, okay. So here's the thing. Somebody you've never met.
and he's not from here.
And they're not from here.
Yeah, it's from Colorado.
And like, did you post the joke online? Could they have found it? Like,
No,
could they have seen it?
That if they saw it or heard it, it was at an open mic.
Well,
because I hit up all these open mics around here.
so who was it?
Pretty sure it was.
No, I mean, like, what was the person's name? Who?
He's the comedian.
Okay. And he stole a joke from you without you having posted it, without ever coming to open mic, without.
Well, I
mean, like, I'm trying to figure out, like.
She said she heard another dude say that joke.
Oh.
Yeah, she's like, I heard him say that joke, and when he said it, I was like, what the fuck? That's Marco's joke. And she's like, and then she told me, and I was like, who was it? And it was, and then she said, well, the show was on this day, and he was the host. So I looked it up on my phone, and I was like, I've never even met this dude.
The guy's name was.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't know. It seems like it lives up to the name. I mean,
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, that seems kind of spurious. You know,
But she's heard me tell that joke multiple times, and like, dude, you can't you both just can't come up with that.
No, I mean, you can actually.
I mean, yeah, in an alternate universe.
I mean, actually, all right. Now this is. Yes, you can, and here's why.
I know you can, dude, but verbatim.
Well, almost. Okay, well, I don't know. I mean, like
it would be enough of a coincidence that I think would be worth mentioning. It'd be like, hey, how'd you come up with that?
So, like, I mean, yeah, and you could do that, and you could be like, I have a joke that's really similar, and I've done that too, like, you know, fucking headliners before. There's this one guy who went up, he talked about, like, you know, his polyamorous friends being Mormon. And I was like, oh, I have a joke that goes kind of like that, except it goes like this. And it's like...
Right. But if it goes kind of like...
Well,
it goes exactly the same way.
Punchline's the same. Punchline goes polyamorous to Mormon.
Right.
It's the same journey.
But if the premise and the setup and the punchline are all the same, wouldn't you kind of be like, well, that's interesting?
Well, if it's...
I haven't confronted him, and I just wanted to kind of first... Before I did that...
No, I mean, I've never heard of this guy either. Like,
yeah.
And I've been doing
like, hey,
this shit for
fuck?
like 8 years.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is like...
And I have that joke written, like, and I have videos of it on my phone. I record my own sets.
I mean, sure. No, and that might be true. But, you know, people are hive creatures. And what you're talking about is something that's like... Was one of the reasons that, like, you know... people can accuse you of stealing is because whenever you talk about something outside of yourself, like, especially with other comedians, it's like... What's the likelihood? And this is why it bothers the shit out of me whenever people talk about the news. It's because you are now in competition with anybody who's ever started doing comedy way before you. And what is the chances that your take on whatever is happening on CNN right now is any more refined than somebody who's been doing that same thing for 35 years?
Yeah, I never ever do like.
And that's why, like, when you do stuff that's topical, when there are obvious things, like the Marshallese really do be hanging out at the Jones Center.
Yeah, but that's not topical.
Well,
that's like no one's talking about that.
Right. It is, I don't know, it's oddly specific. I mean, if the guy went to the Jones Center that day, I mean, that's a different fucking thing. But if it's like...
I think it's more likely that that this dude saw me say that. It got laughs.
Okay,
so... Said it just because maybe he was hosting here in town, which is whatever, you know, but...
Well, right, but who is he, like, featuring? Because, like, you're talking about a guy who I've never heard of, who's definitely not from, like, any of the surrounding, like, region.
Yeah.
Because I've worked at this club and met all the people that he books. If he got brought along by somebody, went to the Jones Center that day...
Well, he used to live here, too.
Oh.
So, yeah, I think he just, like, recently moved to Colorado. But, like, yeah, because I checked and say, he's like, oh, he like, lived here, you know? So...
And then he started doing comedy in Colorado after
it looks like he's been doing comedy.
After coming to one of your open mics for...
No,
how long have you been doing comedy?
I'm not saying that he started when he started.
I'm trying to, like, establish a timeline. Because, like...
I'm sure, like, comedians, when they're in town, they go to open mics.
If you posted it and you got 40 views, and then the guy comes in and does it verbatim, that's one thing. But, I mean, it sounds to me like you both came to the same conclusion, kind of the same way. And I'm not, like, standing up for... like different guy. I'm saying, like, the reason I don't do jokes about shit like that is because early on, I was accused of stealing, and I had to basically, show them my work, alopecia.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think it's worth just even not having a conversation.
Right.
No,
I mean, I'd reach out to the guy, be like, hey, how'd you come to that conclusion? But I don't know that, because, I don't know. Who the fuck is stealing jokes from open micers?
It happens, dude.
I mean, sure.
It happens a lot.
But, like, I'm talking about, like, somewhere in Arkansas. The stakes could not be lower.
I know. That's why it's like, bruh sound effect.
Well, dude, I'm saying, like, before you attack this guy, like, maybe just...
Well, I'm not...
Maybe just try to, like...
I never
get
said
to
attack.
know him. Well, I mean, like...
I'm not going to attack
I
him.
know people that would, like, take that as proof and then just make a big fuss out of it.
No.
Because a lot of these guys doing this stuff, talking into a microphone, and that's fucking it. I have a lot of time.
Yeah. I don't have a lot of time, but I want to just have a conversation, be like, what's up? How did you come up with that? That sounds like mine. I think you stole it. Like, make me feel better.
Don't say that.
No, I'm not going to say that, but you know what I mean.
Some guy said it to me. I'm like, who? Did it look like me?
Caress me with your words.
I say that on stage. Well, like, story goes, just like somebody was talking to, like, Greg Fitzsimmons, And I'm like, oh, I have a joke that's identical to yours. And then Greg looks at him and he says, well, who does it better? And then he walks away. Like, and that's really what it is. Yeah. Because, like, if it's talking, like, if you're doing, like,
if it's similar, that's one thing, dude.
Subject,
but if it's the exact same
an object, a place.
Yeah.
Like, and this is why, like, again, like, yeah, you got to find stuff to talk about. And that's why I think autistic people excel in this business, because they tend to focus on stuff that other people just don't.
Yeah.
And then joke about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like Brian Regan, he's a closet guy. Like,
I don't know who that is.
Oh, you don't?
Brian Regan.
Amish people know who he is. Yeah, dude, he's a beast.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, he came to town, Amish people were in the crowd. I'm like, how do you advertise to these people? How do they know?
Nice.
Like, right. Word of mouth, a pigeon? I don't know.
Right.
Right.
A fax
They were there.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Are we on time? Yeah, I'll do another beer. I'm going to take a bathroom break. We'll be right back. Maybe I shouldn't be so honest. I don't know. We're back, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. What were we talking about? Talking about, joke thieves and, like...
Yeah, it's whatever, man. Honestly, if I really want to be, like, mature about it and stuff, which I also am, I'm both. I'm a little salty about it, but I'm also like, hey, man, I'm kind of flattered, like, because if a joke, let's just say, assume that it was stolen, right? It's like, cool. One of my jokes is good enough that some other comedian was I want it, and whatever. Even, you know what? Also, it's not. There's infinite amount of jokes I can make about whatever, right?
That's my head on it too. Is like, well, especially if it's like working in the club and the headliner says something, that like I've written down. It's like kind of validating, kind of upsetting at the same time.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
I am good enough to do this.
Yeah.
And I'm pissed.
Yeah. It was like,
because in that moment, that literally could be me.
I think it's flattering to me because I do value, like, the respect of my peers, and to have other comedians, validate me, that's cool. And so that's somewhat validating also.
Let me tell you right now, like, sure.
Yeah. Well, it feels good to be able to say, like, oh yeah, man, they fuck with me,
Right.
That like that just but not overthink it.
No,
I
think
not place that as like the only, like, it's not the highest priority.
No, I would say.
But it's like, oh cool, they fuck with me.
I would say,
But even if they didn't fuck with me, I still. It's fuck.
Well, so like, I'm a guy that, like, I don't know, would have liked a warmer reception from the locals, but didn't get it. Yeah. Now I'm still doing it, which, like, I have to reconcile on myself. It's not because of anything that they think. It's like, if I'm one day when I'm 50 and I didn't do it, had the opportunity, wanted to do it, then I'm gonna be pissed.
Yeah, man.
And unable to do anything about that. And yeah, like I don't know, like that's been something that when I started, like I remember like when I dropped out of school, because it was like I'm from a pretty decent fucking family. Like everybody's seemed like they had their shit together.
At least on paper.
Right. Well, now I've been, doing my thing for better part of a decade now, and it's like the conversation has gone from like, what are you into, Conrad? No follow-up questions to like, Conrad, when I was your age, I was the funniest guy at such and such university, and we were next to the Comedy Store, and I was open mic night, and I wanted to get on stage, and I didn't, and I think about that still.
Oh man, yeah.
And I was like, well, where was this like 10 years ago?
Right.
When everybody was looking at me funny.
Yeah.
Because, I don't know. My whole thing, the journey that I'm at is like, I've known what I wanted to do for a long time, or at least like a version of what I want to do,
Yeah.
And I pursued it, relentlessly. Sometimes at detriment to my own health, financial well-being,
right,
etc. But I did that too because I knew it was an investment in myself. That the more time that I spent, writing, painting, practicing, whatever the thing is, that I'd be rewarded for it later.
Yeah.
And now I'm in a weird position because it's like I know how to play your favorite song. I know how to tell a good joke. And people don't have room in their heads for what that is. It's easier for them to just file me away as either a comedian and a musician. And I realize I'm sounding like a diva right now, but like, if I fucking kill it at a show, like one time I opened for a buddy of mine, and I'm asking him, I'm like, hey, what do you want me to do up there? Music, comedy? He's just like, you do you. 12 minutes. All right, light me at 10. I went up there after setting up all my fucking guitar equipment, and then I talked for 10 minutes and played one song and brought up the band. And everybody loved it.
Nice.
And like so much so that like there's this thing that happens like when you do super good on stage is that I don't know if people can help, like you get like the high fives like when you get off like right away. And like if you get in like a club scenario and you really fucking kill it, it's the same deal except for after the show. So like after the show, everybody did well enough that they're just they're greeting and thanking everybody that's going through the thing. And like this one lady was like, love your comedy, kid, love those jokes, stick with that. Didn't care for the music though. I'm sorry you don't like country, bitch. I don't know. That was the one country song I wrote. I didn't know I was taking a risk there. Yeah. Other people were like, you're really funny, but you got an incredible voice. And it's like, like two sides to that coin, comedy is so hard. It's so hard and so low paying that I have been just eagerly lapping up all of the gigs that other musicians won't do. Yeah. Because I'll go up there for 3 hours and I'll play for 4. Play for 4 because like for the first hour nobody was there, and then 5 o'clock rolls around when I'm supposed to wrap up and there's suddenly a crowd. Yes. And then the girlfriend wants to leave and it's like, no, I'm gonna get $10, like perform for people actually, like not just do it and check the box, like but yeah, I mean like people do that for every aspect of life, not just artistic ones. It's like, who is Marco Antonio, and they find the most familiar thing that they can, fathom, and then that's just what you are.
Right.
And that, I don't know why I'm doing this. I think that's maybe one of the reasons I'm doing the podcast. I know that, I enjoy doing it, and, one of the most fun parts is, like, figuring out which local business is, like, cool enough to, like, am I cool enough to get these guys to turn the music off or let me use a room in the back, you know? Who is the, most interesting person that I think I can have a conversation with that'll agree to talk to me.
Yeah.
Hell
yeah.
And then, like, even if I only have 20 listeners, I mean, it seems like half of them have let me know that they enjoy it, so it's like...
Nice.
I don't know. I'm in a weird spot, though, because it's like, I've done creative projects for other people, and that sucks, because you can spend, like, a lot of time on something, just to have your boss tell you to do another one.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, what's wrong with this? And they don't know because they hired you. What am I getting on about? But the most influential person I met, on my comedic journey, after telling all the local comedians who had accused me of stealing because I was busting my ass, to kiss my ass, I can play guitar. I don't need to have 9 friends on a show to do it. They're there because I want to hang out. Thanks for letting me know who you want to play with. And I still don't get booked at that fucking place, and that was like 4 years ago.
Damn.
You talk shit, you gotta walk the walk, but like, for me, it's pretty simple math. I mean, if everybody's just, at this free showcase splitting up $200, I'd rather take that all home by myself and have it.
Yeah.
Instead of like,
right.
I'm a starving artist.
Yeah.
You gotta take care of yourself.
Yeah.
If you starve to do your thing, you're just more often than not like a super self-indulgent asshole. There's no reason to be uncomfortable. Well, there's no reason to be suffering in order to do your thing.
Yeah, man. Yeah, for sure. I think you can do both. Do your thing and still get paid and still have fun.
I was trying to start a band before I became a comedian. It's one of the things that pushed me into it. And one of the frustrating things about that was, like, I work, 40 hours, 5 nights a week, whatever, and I don't have as much time to practice, book the thing, etc., write, what have you, And the people, at least in the age group at the time, were a bunch of dudes that had enough time to get good at instruments, hang around and play them all day.
Yeah.
Got everything paid for by mom and dad, Despite the fact that they had nothing but time in the fucking world, they would show up late.
Yeah.
And here I am, with a very serious relationship with my money and my time.
Yeah.
And they have a casual grip on both of those things.
Yes.
Somehow, the person with less of both of those things is able to accomplish more.
Yeah, I
than
think
the
that's
person, and I think like one begets the other. It's like, I'm doing more things, therefore I'm gonna get more done. It's like you ask a busy person to do shit, type of thing. I got into comedy because having to rely on people like that is just very frustrating.
Yeah.
And I can tolerate whenever I fail myself. Because at the end of the day, I tried.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I see, like the comedy thing as. It's like, are there people that are funnier than others? Yes. Do certain people turn the corner, start to get it quicker than others? Yes. Do people say that it's a meritocracy when it really is something other than that? Yes.
Yeah.
And like the line for failure for me is, isn't did people laugh? It's, am I gonna get up on stage again? And if the answer to that is yes, then it really doesn't matter what happens to you now.
Yeah.
You know, unless you're trying to be on fucking SNL living in Northwest Arkansas, like a lot of people seem to think that that's what's going on. Well, let me tell you, Lorne Michaels doesn't scout from fucking here.
Yeah.
No matter how bad you want to. You know, like any amount of success that you're going to get is going to come from you wanting to do it.
Yep.
And nothing else.
Yeah.
You know? Especially like expecting help from your fucking peers, dude.
Yeah.
Because what happens then is like, you know, you hold yourself to the standard of somebody that isn't even good enough to like make it the way that you think that you want. And, you know, everything runs its course, and then a few years from now you talk about that fun thing you and your friends used to do.
Yeah.
Is that what you want? I mean, I don't know. I didn't mean to get so serious here, but like, no, I mean, like, I get on stage now because I genuinely understand that, like, the job of doing so is to make the day of the person that you're talking to.
Yeah.
It is not to teach them anything.
Right.
It's not to, like,
It's not to, like, trauma
make
dump.
fun of them.
Yeah.
It's not to tell them about your uncle that nobody talks about. Like,
Yeah.
it's to make their day.
Yeah.
And there's a million different ways to do that.
Sometimes
but like,
you can make their day by making fun of them too. You know, sometimes because, you know, if you poke a little fun at them and they laugh and they love it, you know, and if it's just something silly, like you don't have to insult them.
Totally.
You know,
Right.
I told this one guy one time, and he loved it. He came up to me after the show and just loved it. His friends at his table all were looking at him and then just laughing. And you know, I told him like he looks like he saves animals. You know, and he was and he just was like this older guy with gray beard, bald, and he was like all tatted up and everything. He was fit, you know, and his friends just looked at him, and it was just
he's
like
got 4 cats.
yeah, yeah, and it was the silly, you know, and it was fun. And then he came over and he's like, I'm from New York, and we just moved here for work, and this is my first time doing going to any comedy thing here in Arkansas. And he's like, and you know, I loved it. He's like, you made my night. This was awesome, you know. And it's stuff like that. That's really the best feeling, really. You know, like when you're like, hell yeah, man, like that. You know, you spread joy and stuff.
Coolest thing that ever happened to me in my entire like stage career. It's probably like 2 years ago now. Yeah, I'm on stage at it's Waystone now. It was Mojo's back then, and I'm playing this song, and there's this little like black kid like bopping, you know.
Yeah.
I give him one of these. What's your name? I'm gonna forget his name.
Just make something up.
Flex.
Day
Right?
Day.
And I'm like, word, Flex, you know, and then, you know, just like new to the scene and like full of enthusiasm, and nobody understands him, and he's in the initial stage of his pissing everybody off, and we'll put that out there. Yeah, but you know, and like he's going around and doing stuff that other people aren't doing. Like, I'm gonna book a rap festival, and I'm like, well, motherfucker, the head shop that I helped start is like sponsoring that. There's no fucking way you're gonna be the only comedian working at the rap festival. So I booked the rap festival, you know, through the sponsors, and then he drops. He dropped out. Yeah, that was one of the weirdest gigs I ever had, because it was like, you know, I'm trying to figure out how to do comedy. This kid's running around, and it's an outdoor gig, like Prairie Street. I don't know if you've ever been there. It's like they got like a corrugated metal like patio ceiling, and the stage is under there, and you know, everybody was running around like having a water fight, doing all this shit, and I'm like sitting there like shitting my pants, like what the fuck am I gonna do?
Yeah.
Suddenly, it starts to rain. Everybody that doesn't want to get wet rushes the stage, the only shelter, you know. There's still kids having a water fight in the background, but like anybody that wants to not get wet is now like crammed as close to the stage as they can get, and this is perfect, you know. The DJ gives me the crappiest intro I've ever got. Up next we got a comedian. Man, you better be funny. Conrad. I'm like,
Yeah.
thank you.
Nice.
I start going into my stuff, and I'm worried if I'm too dirty because there's kids. But then I look out into the crowd at a bunch of black faces, and I see a bunch of gold teeth smiling back at me.
Nice.
And I realize, like, all these kids are all these rappers' kids.
Oh,
They just got done singing songs about flipping bitches about what brand of Pyrex to use, dude.
Yeah.
This is gonna be. And then I did my 10 minutes, and it was the most absurd thing because you couldn't hear laughter, you couldn't hear anything I said. People were watching it, and they could hear it. I couldn't tell though, because all that you could hear was the sound of rain hitting a metal roof. Like, and I did 10 minutes, and I get off stage. In the green room at this particular place is a broken down tour bus.
Nice.
So you get on there, and there's like a couch, and everybody's like smoking and doing their thing, and like I'm hanging out with the DJ. It's like, man, I'm hanging out with a comedian right now, and I'm like, oh.
Yeah, that's nice.
I'm having trouble with my girl, but I'm hanging out with a fucking comedian. I'm like, no pressure, dude. All right.
Nice.
Let me see that bowl. You know?
Nice. Yeah, man, you
That's-
did it. You
well-
got the hardest validation from the most difficult demographic to reach for your demographic.
So, my second DUI.
Mm-hmm.
My second DUI. There was a bunch of stuff that I'll maybe talk about in a few years, but I don't know. But you know, being a consummate professional, you know, the cop who pulled me over, he already knew my whole like drunk driving sales pitch. Let me guess, 2 or 3 drinks on your way home from a show? And I'm like, it was for charity. He's like, step out of the car.
Yeah.
You know? And I'm like, you know, he got me. And I remember, like, we were driving from Tawnytown to Washington County. So we were, like, right there. I was almost to go to, yeah, Washington County's, like, chill. On the way there, I got my, like, hands cuffed behind my back, and I was like, do you want to hear a joke?
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, sure, what do you got? And I was like, I only get stage fright when I have to stand on 1 foot and count to 10. You know, and he's not like
That's
allowed.
funny.
He's not allowed to laugh. You know, but I'm working on him because I can bomb. You know.
Yeah.
And the payoff was after I got to jail. You know, they pat you down before, you know, during processing. You know, some guy who looked like me with a lot more tattoos was like feeling me up, and I'm making a fuss about it. You know, and the cop who arrested me was like, don't mind him. You know, he's actually a comedian.
That's awesome.
And I'm like, oh, I made it.
Oh, yeah.
You know, that wasn't. I wrote such a good 5 minutes the first time I went in jail because
Nice.
it was like right after I got into comedy,
Nice.
and like the whole thing was just, I don't know. What do you do? Like, you know, one of the things that I use comedy for, and this is one of the reasons that everybody uses its trauma dump, is to turn bad experiences
Yeah.
into something that you can, you know, you own that.
Yeah.
The process of learning how to do that is awkward and ugly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like, one of the things that I'm dealing with now, and I had to deal with myself, is like, if you go to a comedy club 1 year in because you think you're hot shit and it's just not fucking there, guy's gonna see that it's not there, and he's gonna remember that you suck, which means it doesn't matter how much time has passed. Next time he comes in, he's gonna remember you sucked.
Yeah.
You know, like, and that's one of the things that I feel like me and the local guys I had an issue with, is because they saw, you know, the version of me that was more like a that would piss everybody off and then leave, and then by the time I got the hang of it, they quit coming to open mics, and they couldn't reconcile that,
Yeah.
you know. And I try not to do the same thing to people, myself,
Mm-hmm.
you know, but I also see patterns.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. You also wear a lot of patterns.
I do. People accuse me of things, yes. No, but like, that's a concern too. Is like, if you tour around with the same people constantly, like, you're gonna become associated with them.
Yeah.
And if one of them reputations goes to shit, then like, I don't know. Don't have a super textbook example of that, but like, between that and the experiences that I had with the other local guys that like book shows, I mean, like, I could be doing way more for the community comedy-wise, but I don't, because I don't know who deserves it.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I used to think, you know, I still kind of do, the one thing that'll make me respect you is consistency and effort.
Mm-hmm.
Everything aside, like, that's why I'm willing to book a gig with the ventriloquist at a retirement home from 9:30 in the morning till 4 p.m. at night, is because
Yeah.
I know that I'm scared to do that, and fuck if he can, like,
Yeah.
you know. Well, we covered a lot. Started off on, got a little existential. We covered, you know,
Oh yeah.
talked a lot of theory on writing and what to write about. I mean, my feeling in business is that if, like, your neighbors are stealing your ideas, then they'll never catch up to you.
Mm.
You know?
Yeah. It's cool, man. It's honestly whatever, dude. I'm not. That's probably just like my ego, you know, talking and stuff. But honestly, man, I love comedy.
I mean, like, I don't
just
think
wanna do it,
anybody
man.
else on the planet has ever written the Chegg.
Yeah.
No, I'm serious, because that's unique to Marco.
Yeah.
Nobody's gonna do that.
Yeah.
It's too dumb
Yeah. It really, yeah. You
because
know.
it's real.
Yeah.
Yeah, like,
Yeah. But
yeah.
yeah. Oh, this was fun, dude.
What are your goals, comedically speaking? Are you just trying to, like,
Honestly,
get good at something? I mean, you seem like, you know, a guy who's got it together professionally a little bit more than a busboy.
oh, I appreciate that, man.
You know, like, you've got chops, experience, you're, you know, good at things that you do. What do you want out of this?
Man, honestly, I want to be really good at it, you know. just to be honest, man. I don't want to be somebody with, like, a shtick, you know, or something like that. I don't know if that, and no hate against that, no hate, but, like, I just want to be.
Call my shit a shtick?
No.
I call it branding. No.
No,
Right,
no,
yeah.
no, no. I don't like, but you know what I mean. I don't want to go
Right,
up there
yeah,
and always have to be a character, you know, or whatever.
Well, I mean, you do.
Yeah, I mean,
like-
but you know what I mean, like,
so, like,
with
my
like
little-
an outfit and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to go
I
up there.
suppose. But, I mean, even then, like, at its core, the job is to put on a shirt and shoes that's nice and not too distracting. And, I mean, there is kind of a uniform for this stuff.
Right, but I'm saying I'm not going to go up there in a clown suit. You know what I'm saying?
You're gonna dress down like a real pimp.
And yeah, and
Gary Clark.
yeah,
Yeah. Wear a beanie in July.
yeah,
Yeah.
and but honestly, man,
'Cause that's how cool you are.
I think every comedian wants to, like, make it, whatever that is. You know, I think every comedian has
What does
like
that mean? What does that mean for you? Because, like,
just to be.
I work a shitty dead-end job, and because of gigs, I am able to have health insurance.
Yeah, no,
That puts me, like,
yeah. I mean, so this is actually something that I did today. I paid my rent with comedy money. That was that, and to me, like, you know, I sort of when I noticed that I did, I was like, oh, damn, that's cool, you know. And to me, that was an accomplishment. But I'm not saying that, like, I think it would be awesome if one day comedy paid all my bills.
okay, well, here's the counter to that, dude. It's like, if you keep doing this thing every day, and it seems to me, I don't know, personally, if I could pay you a compliment, that you're not getting any worse.
Thanks, man.
You know, there's going to become a time where whatever it is that you're doing that you could only aspire to just a few years ago is now the norm,
Yeah.
and you're going to have to.
Well, I want to keep elevating, keep getting better, you know, and I feel like I'll know more what that looks like as I get there, you know.
Yeah, and you will, because, I don't know, I was like 5 years into doing stand-up before I read Judy Carter's Comedy Bible.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, you should start with that.
Mm-hmm.
but it's not going to tell you anything that you're not going to learn in the field.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that's my mentality 100%. It's just get out there.
It's like
night.
it's like a tattoo artist. Like you're only gonna get better at it by doing it.
Right.
You know, you can read about theory and all of that and
talk about it
and everything like that. But if you're not doing it, you're not getting better at it.
Right, and that's you know, that's the meritocracy part.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's because when it's up there and it's good, you can't say that it's not good.
Yeah.
Now, what's going to happen after that is politics.
Yeah, I think
But-
regardless of what happens, regardless of how many shows I do and stuff, man, honestly, at the end of the day, doing this makes me happy. You know, and it really does, man. It helps me keep my sanity. It's, you know, it is therapeutic and all that stuff, but I'm doing it for me more than I'm doing it for, like, you know, oh, I'm going to have my own Netflix special and I'm going to do all this, man. I'm doing this because I love it.
Yeah, and if that's the reason, then you won't have a reason to stop.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like a girl or a car or a...
Not everyone who paints is going to be,
Thing,
you know, Van Gogh or whatever, but
No, I mean,
if they
everyone
love-
who paints,
yeah.
if everyone painted, they probably wouldn't
yeah.
be Van Gogh. You know? But I think that's a good... It's a good positive, negative note to end on.
Yeah.
This has been Connie's Untitled Nighttime Talk Show with Marco Antonio. Thank you for tuning in.
Oh, yeah.
We'll see you next time. I feel like that one good.
Nice.
I really couldn't stop thinking about it.